Make the cut comb honey. I take an empty frame and I put about a ½ inch of wax in there for them to have something to start on. And then they fill the entire frame with their own wax, fresh made wax, fresh made honey, fresh made capping. So I don't make a lot of cut comb honey every year because it takes about 8 pounds of honey to make 1 pound of wax. So usually we just scrape off the cappings, extract the honey, and we save the comb for next year so they can make a lot faster and easier without having to build all new wax. So I make a limited amount of this cut comb because we have several customers that are old timers like me, and they remember when they used to get cut comb straight from the hive. So what I do is I cut a chunk that is the size to fit into a pint jar, and I put that into the jar. And I do the 12 jars at one time. The 8 pounds of honey is basically about 3 quarts, which is 6 of these pints. It takes 6 of these pints of honey just to make 1 pound of wax. So it's easy to see why it's not common to have cut comb. I cut the comb as big as I can to fit into the jar. So occasionally I make a mistake and it overflows a little bit. But I'd rather give them more than less.
Is this so yummy and so impossible to stay clean eating?
You get a lot of they call it finger licking good.
It's just that I cut it.
The extraction trailer actually has a 25-gallon bottling tank, but it also has
That's all I saw.
a rim around it, a cavity that you can heat the water to make the honey flow faster. This has a 1-inch valve here, but the bottom is only like about ½ an inch where the honey comes out. So you don't really get fast flow with room temperature honey. So the tank that's in there has that extra space around it to put water, and it's got a heater, like a hot water heater, and you can heat it up and then it flows easier and faster. But since I don't heat my honey, number one, and number two, it's too heavy even when it's empty for me to deal with. I don't know if you can reach up to get a good view of that.
Got a mind of its own.
Here's the process. We bring in the boxes with the honey in them. And this upper section is called the decapping machine. Right? Okay, this looks just like the cut comb honey that I have inside, but this has reinforcing wire in it to hold it stable when it goes through the extracting machine. So basically all you have to do to get honey is cut the cappings off, and I usually did that with a knife, but now that our club has this machine, it is a whole lot faster. Before, we would take a knife, hold the frame like this over a tub, and slice the cappings off. Do one side, flip it, do the other side. Now we put it in this machine. And instead of falling into the tub, they now fall into this bottom section, which is a wax spinner. So it takes the cappings that come off of here, it spins them in a tub, and it has blades in it, almost like in a blender that chew it up. And those blades separate the wax from the honey while it's spinning. And then we get the honey to come out here. So none of it gets wasted. So this decapping machine has little chains in it that spin. And the chains are set so they just cut off the cappings and it leaves the honey. There you go. Now, when the bees don't fill the frame out completely, we have a little scratcher. Just scratch the cappings. Once we scratch it, and it goes in the extractor, it cleans it up nice. So this is a holding tank. So when you put the frames in here, whatever drips will still get saved into a bucket where it drips out the other end. So here we have another frame. So what used to take 4 or 5 minutes possibly now takes 30 seconds. So I have had an extractor of my own for quite some time. But my extractor holds 6 frames. The extractor that the club has now holds 20 frames. So that, again, is a big time saver. This extractor holds 20, which is more than 3 times what my little one holds. And this entire system was designed and set up by Jeff, our member who was able to get us the grant. So we as a club are deeply grateful to him, and me as a beekeeper doubly grateful because the time I save now is really amazing compared to what I used to spend doing this. Okay, so we have our 20 frames in here. This is the speed control. I reduce the speed to a slow startup because right now some frames have a lot of honey, some frames just have a little bit. There's a couple of different size frames here. So I started up slow, and this way it doesn't run around the room, because the vibration and bouncing can be a problem. Alright, so let's turn her on. Let's move this one. Down below here is the drain valve and the strainer. That's all I use is a strainer to catch any chunks of wax, any bead parts. No heat, no pumping, just natural flow. Once it starts running, and it's not bouncing around a lot, I'll slowly increase the speed. You can't see it because it's dark in here, but this thing is throwing honey like crazy. See the little bee parts that come out? Chunks of wax. So again, bees are not aggressive. When a bee is checking you out, it's going too fast. See what it does? It's going to slow it down again until it evens out. As long as you don't swat at them to hurt them, they're not aggressive. They think the light is the sun and they're just trying to get out. Honey's coming out. So when I finish with all of the extraction, I'll take the trailer outside, leave it open, let the bees clean as much as they can clean, and then I go with good cleaning equipment and finish it up. Then it gets shut up, put in storage until the next beekeeper needs it. The biggest problem with all this equipment is the cleanup. You can see the mess that's over here. There's chains throw out little bits of wax, the honey drips.
Yeah.
But the bees will clean it up, and no honey will go to waste, not a drop.
Can I ask you the grant y'all got for this trailer? What grant did y'all go under? Or he just applied for?
I really don't know. That was
Okay.
like 5 years ago.
Okay.
Those flip-flops, you don't want to step on.
Yeah.
See, they're cleaning these up so that in another day or so I'll be able to put these in storage until next spring. Look over there.